What's up, guys? So today we are going to be changing the valve cover gasket in my 2008 Saturn Sky Redline. It is leaking a little bit of oil from the valve cover gasket, and while it's not a major thing, I would like to get that taken care of so the car can be mechanically solid. So let's get to it. Now I will show y'all where it is leaking oil from. So in case any of y'all need to do it, y'all can check. So first you have to take off this cover. It should just pop off. Does not have any bolts connected to it. Then y'all can see all the little bit of oil where it is leaking from. Again, it's nothing major. It would probably be okay to just leave it like that, but I'd rather it not leak any oil. So the first step to doing this is going to be taking this felt cover off, and it's not hard. Take the oil cap off, and then you will take these two little clips off and the connectors for the coil packs and the intake and exhaust solenoids. Once you take the felt cover off, it should look something like this. So you do not have to disconnect the exhaust and intake solenoids off to get the felt cover off, but we will be doing it in the next step. And so the next step will be to remove the 4 coil packs, which are just held in by 10mm bolts. Okay guys, so we went ahead and removed the 4 coil packs, and to remove the exhaust and intake solenoid, just 2 10mm bolts, but these will leak out oil, so I just recommend getting a rag, putting it beside it so y'all don't make a mess, because these will take out a bunch of oil when you remove them. So get ready, don't make a mess. Okay, now that the coil packs, intake, and exhaust valve, solenoid valves are out, now we will get to tackling all these bolts that hold in the valve cover gasket. So, well, the valve cover, so we can get the valve cover off here in a minute. So let's do that. Okay guys, now we have removed all 11 bolts holding the valve cover in. Now it's time to take it off. All are pretty easy to see where they are. This one right here is a little tight to get to. You will have to use either a wrench, or if you have a wrench with a socket adapter, that's what I used, or if you have a wrench. But every of the other bolts are pretty noticeable and easy to get to, and there should be 11. So once you get 11 out, you know you took all of them out. So one more thing guys, so this line will have to be disconnected, and then this one you can disconnect from here. Right there, there's the bolt to disconnect that from. And then there will be this little plastic tab that just pulls out, just so you know those will have to be removed too. So now that we got the valve cover off, you can see that these were pretty hard. Again, these could have been worse. If left for a long time, they would have been gotten worse. They are pretty hard, but not terrible. And I did a little spot, so this is how it was, and you can see this kind of shiny spot right there. I just took some super fine steel wool and gave it a quick clean. Again, you don't have to do this. This is just so it looks better, but I will update you when I finish giving this a clean and installing the new gasket. To get the valve cover removed, you just want to wipe right here. You see it's nice and clean right here where all the old gasket material is. Just get that nice and clean, that way the new gasket has a nice, smooth, clean surface to adhere to. You don't want any of the old gunk that was on there to stay there, just to make sure it seals properly. Now that we have cleaned the valve cover, this is what the gaskets will look like installed. It is important not to stretch these out. Gently place them in. Do not try to stretch it because that will only ruin the gasket. And I gave it a quick cleaning. Looks a little better. Nothing crazy. I just got some super fine steel wool and some all-purpose cleaner, and it just makes it look better. Again, this is not a show car. This car is about to hit 100,000 miles. It is a 2008. It is my daily driver, not a show car, but I do want it looking nice and clean. So this is what it looks like. You can see the gaskets fit nicely, and I got this gasket set from ZZP, not sponsored or anything, but they shipped it out super quick. I am incredibly happy with it, so let's get this installed now. We have now put it back, the valve cover, and first thing I did was reconnect these two hoses and the 10 mil connecting it. Did that first, and so put all the bolts back, but they are just hand tightened. They are not tightened all the way. Left a little gap, as you can see, because these need to be torqued in a specific pattern and to a specific torque to ensure they will not leak. I will put a picture here up on the screen on the order, and these will need to be torqued to 89 inch-pounds. 89 inch-pounds is about 7.5 or so foot-pounds. Do not try to torque these to 89 foot-pounds. That is how tight a lug nut for a car would be, and you would just destroy the seal. 89 inch-pounds is not very tight. Just know that it is about 7 foot-pounds, which is barely any torque. Make sure to do it right. I have a torque wrench right here. It is a 1/4 inch because, again, these will not be very tight. This is the sequence I used. I got this picture off of the forums. I'm not sure if this is the official sequence, but this is what I used. Okay, now everything is back together. All the bolts are torqued. The coil packs, intake and exhaust solenoids are back in. So let's get it started. So I have just put the covers back on the car. I have ran it for a couple minutes and there seems to be no leaks, but I will check again in a couple of days after driving it again to see if any have occurred. But as I followed torque specs and was very careful, I believe there shouldn't be any, but I will just in case. That is it for today, guys. If you liked the video, please give it a like and subscribe if you like what videos you're watching, as more are to come.